welcome to my channel. Hello if you are new. Today I'm gonna be decorating my kitchen for Christmas, and as you can see behind me, I've already transformed my shelves, my cabinets, my kitchen island, all the nooks and crannies. I have put a Christmas touch on, so I'm excited to bring you guys along with me today, and I'm gonna walk you guys through decorating all of the spaces. I do have a Christmas 2025 playlist that I will link down below. I've decorated my kids' rooms, my living room. I did lots of Christmas decor shopping and planning, so it's been a lot of fun. And we are now to the point of actually decorating our home, and it feels so good and cozy. I love all of the lights at night. I'm really excited to share this one with you. If you're new, I would love it if you would subscribe and also like this video if you enjoy it, or share it with a friend. Now grab a cozy drink and let's get to decorating. All right, starting out with my coffee nook area. This is my favorite place in my kitchen to decorate. So I wanted to go with a gingerbread theme this year over on these shelves. I did this last year as well, but I wanted to show you guys my thought process behind decorating shelf. I knew I wanted to have a color palette that went with the gingerbread theme. So throughout my entire kitchen, I have browns, creams, greenery, and touches of a dark red. So I always start with my espresso machine. This is in the center of this whole space, and on the top shelf I wanted to add greenery, and I did string some lights around these. They're on a timer right now to go off about 4 o'clock in the evening, but I'll turn them on in just a bit for you guys so you can see. But I found these lights at Hobby Lobby, and they're a micro LED light, but they're a warm white. So I love that. On the top shelf, I have some gingerbread mugs and a gingerbread house. And then on the outsides, I have pieces of my pottery collection. So I have a pottery jug and another vase. I also added a brass touch with my brass candlestick holder. I have my wooden salad bowl for a touch of dark brown, which I'll show you guys overall why I did that in just a minute. And then I stacked 2 of the gingerbread mugs on top of some books. Now, to balance all of the top shelf out, I like to go tall, medium, and tall again on the overall look of the shelves. So that way there is some height differences and it all balances out. That's how I go about shelf styling. Now for the bottom shelf, I wanted to bring in a piece of pottery or two. So I have this pottery bowl with some greenery, and it's actually the same type of greenery as the garland. And this garland was such a great deal. I found it on Amazon. It's Real Touch. It is so good and full. It has some color variation in it. It looks very lifelike, and the 6 foot has went as low as $27, I believe. So really good deal on garland. I think originally it's about $35. So I have that here, and I have another one that matches above my kitchen window as well. But they have picks in this same greenery, and I shared this in my Amazon Christmas haul, but I love these. They are so beautiful and lifelike. So I have a few of those tucked away in a pottery bowl. And then again, you can see I went tall, short, tall, short, tall. I also have pottery, pottery, pottery. And then I have dark brown, and then on the top I have a dark brown as well. So I have a canister of oats. I have a little pottery bowl for spices. This is mainly for looks. Actually, Taylor made this bowl when we took a pottery class a few years ago, so I like to have that on display. I have a brown vase with some wooden spoons. My gingerbread house cookie jar. This is from Hobby Lobby. It's $13. It is such a great staple piece. It goes with lots of different decor styles, but I think it's so beautiful. I also have this smaller house. I'll show you guys up close looks of all of these pieces. But I have a smaller house canister as well, also from Hobby Lobby. It was under $10. I have my coffee beans in a canister that matches the one with the oats, and I have a little jar of cinnamon because I'm always putting that in my coffee. And I have a little tiny mini wreath that goes around it to just add a little something. And then over here, I have another gingerbread house. This piece is fun. It's from Aldi, so it gives a little different look compared to the Hobby Lobby one, but I like that. It's more of a richer brown, which I love. I got this last year, and I don't think they've come out with them this year, but these are some of my favorites. Aldi has such great gingerbread houses if you can find them, and this one even lights up. I need to add new batteries, but so cute. This size, and then I have another size on top. I also have a canister of more coffee and a little gingerbread tree. Now down below on my actual countertop, I like to keep things tucked away. That way I can still bake and make my coffee and not feel super cluttered. However, I do enjoy a styled moment. I'm not really a minimalist when it comes to decor, obviously. I like little styled vignettes and it feels cozy to me. I have a cutting board that I added a little circle wreath around, and then I also tied in a dark red velvet ribbon. I also have a Christmas tree cookie jar from Hobby Lobby. These are so fun, especially this time of year when you're doing baking. It's fun to put little shortbread cookies in there or pieces of peppermint chocolate as little treats for the kids. So anyways, I have that tucked away in the corner, and I feel like it balances out all of the other gingerbread pieces. I stumbled upon this Christmas cookie cookbook at Home Goods or TJ Maxx, yes. It was $8. I thought that was such a great deal. And it has tons of Christmas cookie recipes in it. So I have been flipping through these, and last night, Brooks, my 8-year-old, wanted to bake something. It's been a little bit busy lately doing all the Christmas decorating, and I haven't been in the kitchen as much with him and the kids. So he was like, let's make a cookie. So I told him to pick out a cookie recipe from this cookbook, and he picked out the chocolate chip cookies. So I'll show you those in just a second. They were delicious. So I thought this book was very pretty and nostalgic, just classic, but also useful. So I've got that tucked away in front of this wreath layered with my cutting board. Now on the other side, I wanted to tie in the gingerbread theme all together, so I added this gingerbread house plate. Now I got this plate from Hobby Lobby, and I thought, how am I going to use this in my decor? Because I love it, it's beautiful. I didn't want to get a full place setting because I like the gingerbread houses, but I don't want to go overboard with them. This is the only spot really in my house that I have them, and I love them, but I don't want them everywhere, like on my table setting. So I picked up one of these plates in the larger size. I also have a smaller one that I use as a jewelry holder in my bathroom by my sink. And so I thought for this one, I use a little pitcher holder, and I just sat it on there. That way it's still upright. It's not just laying flat. I'll show you. If it was laying flat, you really wouldn't see it, or not much of it, unless you were right up here close. But if you put it on a stand, you can see it a lot better. Once I added the plate there, I feel like it tied the whole space together. And then in the corner, I have my KitchenAid mixer, I have my flour, sugar, brown sugar, I have a little touch lamp. I just created a cozy baking coffee nook. All right, now let's talk about the cabinets on either side of our hood vent itself, and how I styled around my stove to make it practical and festive. So for our cabinets with the glass, I like to keep things pretty uniform, decorative, but also functional. So I'm gonna open these up and show you guys how I placed everything. So let me bring you a little bit closer. There are cabinets along the top that I keep the same dishes in all year round. They're just white dishes that we got for our wedding. So I keep those up there, and for these shelves, I like to keep it kind of festive. Goes with the overall look of the decor in my kitchen, so I switched out for the holidays. So I have my iced coffee cups. These I believe are from Walmart last year. I love these for iced coffees. So I have a gingerbread man, a couple of those, and I also have some candy cane. I love collecting these fun iced coffee cups. Some people collect mugs, which I kind of do that too, but I really like the iced coffee cups. So I have a few different mugs I'll show you guys. A lot of these are from Hearth and Hand over the years, and I like to drink hot coffee occasionally in them, or tea, or sometimes I even eat my cereal in mugs. Does anybody else do that? So anyways, I love a really nice wide mug, and this one is beautiful. So I'll do a rapid fire of all of our favorite Christmas mugs. I store these up in the cabinet above my refrigerator. So I pulled all of those down. I have a few more. These are fun because they're stackable. Sometimes I've decorated these on my open shelves. But it says Merry Christmas, and I love this one. It looks very like old-fashioned, and I think these are a few years old. These are also Hearth and Hand. This one is massive. I don't remember where this one's from. Cute little gingerbread man, and I don't know if you can tell, but here's the size of my hand, and it's bigger than my hand. So, big mug. So I keep those lower since we grab those often. I also have this iced coffee cup, and I have a vase with some greenery to kind of pull the green up there. But I found this cup at TJ Maxx this year. So cute. It has little gingerbread men on it, and I have used it a ton. My sister-in-law also got one. If you want to see us going shopping together, looking at all of the Christmas decor, I will link that video down below. I also put a few white houses in here because I had them left over from my decor, and I thought those would be really pretty lit up at night. They actually turn on, and so I think having a little glow at night will be really pretty. So I have two of these. I have one on the bottom shelf, one on the top shelf. I also have a stack of plates to add some height, and then I have probably my favorite Christmas mug of all time. And it is a handmade pottery piece from Katrina Clay Ceramics. I think that's what it's called. I'll link her Instagram down below. But it is a thumbprint mug. So she turns these mugs on her pottery wheel, and she can do different designs, but this one does not have a handle. It's actually for your right hand. So when you pick up the mug, it has the perfect spot for your thumb. And I just think it's so sweet. She also painted this Christmas tree on it, and I just think it's so beautiful. If you're local, she sets up at a lot of Christmas markets or fall markets. So yeah, you can see all of her products. She makes all kinds of things, and I keep telling her she needs to ship because a lot of you guys love her pieces as well. Okay, the next shelf, I have a Mackenzie Childs canister. I also have a little pitcher that I use for maple syrup. And then I have this mug. This one was from JCPenney, I think, a long time ago. I did a collab with them probably 4 or 5 years ago. And this is one of the things that I picked up. And I thought it was neat because it has a little spoon built in. Since then, I've seen lots of mugs have that, but I thought this one was really unique. I love the design, and I've used it for years. So I have that, and then on the very top, I just have a teapot. So that is everything in these cabinets. I think it's fun to kind of get a closer up look and see like the thought behind why someone decorates, so hopefully you like this style of video. I switch back and forth between all cinematic styling, voiceover type of videos, and then I also like to just bring you guys along into my kitchen sometimes too and talk through the different spaces. And I love having a cookbook out, and I actually do use them quite a bit. This is the Half-Baked Harvest Quick and Cozy book. Right now I have it on chocolate chip pumpkin muffins, but I feel like I need to find more of a winter thing. So maybe I'll go with the roasted pepperoni Brussels sprouts. That sounds pretty good. Or maybe like a salad. She has beautiful photography in her cookbooks. So I'm gonna put it on this salad here. And I like to have them open. So I've got that set up. Behind my stove, I hung up a tension rod and I have hooks on it. I have a little pitcher, a wooden spoon, my hot pads. I switched them out for some Christmassy ones and some measuring cups. I also keep my Mackenzie Childs tea kettle on my stove. I think it's so beautiful, so I keep it out. And I have some new hand towels. I always pick up, usually every other year I'll pick up some new ones. And this is the style I went with this year. I thought the browns, the pops of red, it has some little red bows, and it's a waffle knit towel. Got this at Home Goods and I've washed it several times. I need to trim the frayed edges, but I've just got that on my stove. And then on the other side, I like to have an organizer for all of the utensils that I grab the most. So I have a lot of wooden spoons over here, our wooden rolling pin, since we will be doing a lot of baking this time of year. We almost made sugar cookies last night, but decided to stick with the classic chocolate chip. And I just have everything anchored with a cutting board, and I have my salt and pepper grinders, and those are nice to have right next to the stove while I'm cooking. And then I have another one of the Aldi gingerbread houses, and I think the shape of this one is so cute. And I, again, love the color of these. It's a little darker of a brown, and I love that. And it also does light up. I think I need to switch the batteries out. Oh, no, this one actually is good to go. So, and I can set it on a timer as well, which is nice. So it's nice to have a little glow at night. And then I put a little tree in with the wooden spoons, and I just added a touch of red with some red ribbon around a crock, a pottery crock piece. So that's everything around the stove. I do add a wreath on our hood vent as well. And this year I went with a grapevine wreath that has real touch greenery on it. And then I tied a plaid bow to kind of break up all of just the dark reds. I also am doing a lot of plaids this year. So I added a plaid bow to the top, and it has some pine cones on it, and I think it looks really cozy. Now for the other side of the cabinets, let me show you what we have in here. Again, with my iced coffees, I love these Anthropologie dupe cups. I got some over the summer and use them all the time. What I like to use these for are sometimes iced coffee if I know I'm gonna be at home, but I also love to use them for like poppies or Olippops with some crushed pebble ice. It's so good. This one has little gingerbread men on it, and then this one has little wreaths with red bows. This one is from Hobby Lobby, and this one came in a set of 2, and I ordered them on Walmart. So I keep those down at the bottom because I reach for those very often. And I also picked up some new mugs. These were the only mugs I think that I bought this year, which is good. I didn't really need any extra, but I thought these were so cute and I could use them all year round. So they are a scallop top, they have a little pedestal, and they're kind of a fluted design. These are from Hearth and Hand this year, and I thought they were so cute. So here's the look. I think they will be perfect for a little cup of coffee. And then again, I added another house down at the bottom, and then again on the middle shelf. And then I have my Mackenzie Childs colander, and I put some greenery, just one stem in that. This is my favorite colander. It's so beautiful. It has brass details. Oh, this would be a great Christmas gift if you need to buy something for someone who has everything and you want to splurge a little bit. This is just such a timeless piece. And then I have another house, some little bowls that I use a lot for charcuterie boards. And then I have our glasses that I always use to set our table with. They're just brown goblet style glasses. And then on the top shelf, I have some pretty bow, like red bow glasses that I also use on our table, depending on if we're having breakfast or dinner. Usually I'll use the short ones for more Christmas breakfast. So that's everything in this side of the cabinet. On this side of the cabinet, I usually have a dome, a cake stand of some sort, and I brought out my extra wide one since I do a lot of holiday baking this time of year. And I have the chocolate chip cookies that we made last night in there. I also have a little ceramic house and my favorite cutting board that I reach for all the time. Now I wanted to talk about our kitchen window above our sink. Sometimes the lighting is kind of hard to show you guys the curtains because it's backlit, but hopefully you guys can see the overall view. So I hung up some garland, the same that I had on the floating shelves on the other side of the kitchen, and I put the same lights on those. And then I also hung up some garland that has a red velvet ribbon with antique gold bells. And I found those at Hobby Lobby. The whole garland was only $16, and I thought that was such a good deal. And then the star of the show of the whole kitchen, in my opinion, is the cafe curtains. So I have another tension rod that goes across that window and I can tighten it, and usually I have clips and some little curtains on them. However, I found these curtains on Amazon and they are a red gingham. They're a dark red, kind of primitive look, and it goes perfectly with the vintage inspired classic Christmas decor. So I ordered it and they are beautiful. They have a scalloped edge bottom and I think they look so beautiful with the brass. So I've got those hung up on the curtain rod. I also found a hand soap that matched the curtains at TJ Maxx and a little sponge that's in the shape of a gingerbread house. They had those in the Target dollar spot, so I picked up a few of those for the season. And that's about it with the window. I kept it simple, but it's very cozy. For the floating shelves on either side of the kitchen window, I wanted to tell you guys what I had on those. I have a wooden bowl that I keep just plain. It's a bigger anchor piece. And then I have a pretty gold vase with some greenery and pine cone picks in it. I also have just another white vase, an extra cake stand, and more of those glasses with the bows on them. These are so beautiful. And they add a nice pop of red to the shelves, and I have them layered on a book. Now on the countertops underneath the shelves, I have a vase with some North Folk pine greenery in it. I also have some plaid ribbon. This plaid matches the one on the wreath above the hood vent. I have some of my favorite cookbooks. They're all the Magnolia Table cookbooks. And then I also have her holiday recipes edition. This was just like a bonus for the Magnolia Journal magazine, and it has all of her holiday recipes in one place, which is really nice. And I love just flipping through this. And then I used a house. It looks like a paper mache house. And I found this at Home Goods last year. I thought it was really fitting. I have a lot of paper mache bowls and I love just that old world look. So I'm using this as a bookend. So that just holds them all in place. And that's everything for this side. Now let's head to the other. Okay, over here on this side of the shelves, I have a picture frame that kind of anchors everything down. I felt like since I have this mirror over here, I needed something else kind of bigger to even out this space. So I have this print of a Christmas tree. I also have a nutcracker in a really pretty brass color. And then this looks like a vintage bell, but it's actually from Hobby Lobby. And I thought it was really pretty and unique. I was gonna use Rub and Buff on it, but it's just a dark wood color. And I think it's a nice anchor piece. I also have my Hungry for Home cookbook. If you don't follow Ruth McKinney, she is so lovely and I get so much inspiration from her, but she came out with a book and my mom got it for me, I think for my birthday or maybe Christmas last year. I'm not sure, but it's a good one. And then I have some little Christmas plates. They just are rimmed in red and green. And then I have a little mug that matches. And then on top, I have a stack of books in the middle, some bowls with some greenery, a vintage inspired Santa tin, and then I have a group of 3 of a vase, a little gold pitcher, and a gingerbread house just to tie it all in together. And then for the countertop, I have a pottery bowl with greenery and cinnamon sticks and pine cones, and it's so pretty and natural looking. I have another cutting board with a red velvet ribbon and another paper mache house. And then on the other side, I have a gold mirror. Now I switched out the big gold mirror that was here and I put it back in my entryway. And I love having mirrors. If I don't do artwork, I typically will do a mirror. And I thought about doing a wreath in front of this mirror, but I already have a wreath on my hood vent, so I opted for a vase with some greenery that's just some more North Folk pine. I added a red velvet ribbon on there, a little lamp to add a cozy glow that's not a candle because I don't want a ton of candles everywhere. I have a stone vase with some greenery and some vintage bell garland in that. So, and that's just on an antique wooden furniture piece that I found over, I think in the spring of this year. I got it this year. It was either in the spring or the summer. And I just love that piece. So that's all the spaces in my kitchen. Now I'm gonna move on to my kitchen island. For our kitchen island, I wanted to add some greenery to the back of our bar stools, and I did this last year, so I knew I wanted to do it again this year, but I added some wreaths. These are Real Touch wreaths. They have some little juniper berries on them, and I added a red ribbon, and I just used some twine to tie them onto the back of our chairs. Now, the twine isn't a permanent solution, but they are falling off a little bit, so hopefully I can find something else to make them a little more secure. Command hooks don't work on the texture of our bar stools, so I gotta get creative. But right now the twine does the job. And then I also added my Lazy Susan. It's a dark brown, which I like. It kind of contrasts with all of the lighter browns that I have in my kitchen. And I have a wicker vase. It's a seagrass type of vase, and it matches the pendant lights that I have in the kitchen. And I have in more of that Real Touch greenery and some red berries. These are my favorite stems that I probably ever purchased. They were, I believe, Hearth and Hand last year at Christmas time, and I don't think they came out with them again this year. I was hoping they would so I could pick up a few more, but I really love those. And then I also have a pottery bowl with some more greenery, pine cones, dried oranges, and then I have a cloche, a large cloche, and I put a big red velvet bow on there, and then I have a candle inside, and it's a spiced chai candle. I think it's like a gingerbread spiced chai from Bath & Body, and it smells so good. And I also love the packaging because it nods to the corner where I have all the gingerbread houses. I am, however, going to our Christmas candle making class tonight over at Pulliam Creek Farm, so I'm so excited to make some candles, and I always get the gingerbread crunch. That is such a good one. And then I love the, I think it's called candy cane or peppermint bark or something like that. It's like a candy cane sweet smelling candle, and it smells so good. I always switch out the curtain in our pantry door. I have this green plaid, and then I have a Real Touch Greenery swag with some red ribbon. And then I found this apron. I thought it was so cute, and it actually ties in with our stockings this year in our living room. It's kind of a, it's not a floral, it's a, I guess it is a little bit of a floral. And it's a muslin material. It's really soft, has the dark red touches. So I'll be baking with this all season long, and I just have a little command strip. I thought about adding like a vintage gallery wall or adding a cutting board or something, but it's really hard to find anything to attach to that cabinet. Even command hooks don't tend to stick, and I've had a picture fall off and break, so I'm a little scared to put anything there now. But I might put our Christmas bucket list. Maybe I'll put that right here to kind of fill in the space. In the fall, I had it on our refrigerator, but I might put it over here this time. We'll see. That's an overview of our kitchen. I hope you enjoyed the tour of seeing how I decorated all of the nooks and crannies for Christmas time. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all very soon in my next one. Bye, friends. Whoa, oh, oh. Da, 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 oh, oh. Da, 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 oh, oh. Da, 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 da. Making our Christmas memories.